In this video, we're going to focus on how we can create a bar track behind the bar here, as you can see here. And we'll make sure that this will be narrowed down nicely depending on the size of the bar percentage and the category percentage. So let's start to look how to add a track or bar track behind the vertical bar chart. So we have this border template here, and you can get this border template here on chartjs3.com getting started. This link you can find as well in the description box. Once you're on here, copy this chunk of code and you're good to go. Next, if you want to get the source code of this video or many others, check out my Patreon page here. You can find this link as well in the description box. Alright, so what we have here is this here, and we want to make this track. So we're going to scroll down and we need to create a plugin here. So we're going to say here, comma, we say plugins, and then in here I'll say here a bar tracker or something like that. Bar track, could be anything you want. So now we have this here, and then I want to make sure that we will load this one. We say give it an ID, bar tracker, and then what we can say here, when would we like to have that track? Well, in this case, we want to make sure that the track will be behind the bars. So we say before the data set has been drawn, the data set draw, before we draw the data set, we'll draw this bar tracker. And then here we can say here chart arcs and then plugin options or plugins. Then what I want to do here is a object destructuring. If you don't know object destructuring, I'm going to recommend you to my other video, which you can find in the description box, Understanding Chart.js Object Destructuring. In here, let's see what we need. We need the CTX. We probably need the data. We'll be needing the chart area. And then we can say here specifically the top, bottom, left, right, width and height. We don't need all of them, and we can remove them afterwards once we know what we don't need. And then what we have here is the scales as well, X and Y. So let's start to draw a shape first. Well, first of all, I'm going to say ctx.save to save all variables above, and then what I want to do is give it a color. I'm going to say here for simplicity, I want to make sure it is a nice grayish color. So I'm going to say here ctx.fill style will be light gray. Once we did this, we can go on now and start to draw basically the shape, the rectangle shape from top to bottom here, but I need to recognize certain items. So one of them is, well, let's start to draw that. We're going to say ctx.fill rectangle, which allows us to draw the rectangle immediately. If I put in here an X, a Y, the width and the height, all of the information we will be needing. So what we do know is, for the height, we know we want to start somewhere here top and going all the way down here. That is basically the height value here of the chart area. So I can replace that already. For the Y value, we know we want to start at top. So we can say here top as well. For the X and the width, basically the bar thickness, is a bit more tricky. But so what I will do for this is I'll just put in here a value. So we have a visual. So if I save this now, we have here now a item that starts from the very top all the way down, and what we want to do is we want to position it here. To do this, we will need to use the scale one of these specific values, which is a built-in functionality of Chart.js. So we're going to say x dot get pixel for value, and the value in this case will be the index number Monday, which is index 0. So if I save this, refresh, you can see here now we are nicely in the center. So what I need to do now is I need to get the width of this and make sure we have the width from here to there. For this, we have a built-in functionality that Chart.js has as well. To show you this, I'm going to use the console log, and we're going to say here chart, and then we're going to say here dot, and then get data set meta index 0, because that's data set, or basically this data set here, we only have one data set. Then let's save that and refresh. Open up the developer tab, and then you can see here we get here the console log with all the information. And what I need is basically the bar element information in the data. And you can see here we get here the exact X and Y coordinates. Basically you could use this as well. But what I want to do here is I want to figure out here what is here the width. So if I scroll down here, we're going to search for the width with a W. Let's see. Well, probably it's in here. the width is about 69 pixels and 18.18 plus plus. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that. I'm going to say here data or dot data index 0 dot dot width. If I do this, we should get now the exact value. All right. So what we could do now is we can say here the following: constant bar thickness equals data width. If I save that, we have this. All right. Then we can copy this and place that in here. Let's save that. There we are. So now we have that, and let's push that more to the right. As you can see here, this is the starting point. So we have to figure out how many pixels it needs to go to the left. Sorry, I said right, but I meant to the left. So it's being repositioned correctly. So what I'm going to do here is the following. Let's see here. This bar thickness can be put in here. So we're going to deduct the bar thickness, but we want to make sure that it's divided by 2 because I want to have only 50% of the bar thickness being, or we want to move to the left 50% of it, half of the bar. And by doing that, there we are, we have this. So finally, what I want to do here, I'm going to say data sets index 0, because what I'm going to do here now is make a for loop, because we have here the hard-coded 0, but I want to loop through all of these here. So I'm going to say here data sets index 0 data for each. And then as we do this, what I want to do here, we can say here the data point as shorthand and the index, although I don't think we need the data point, but who knows, just in case. Then we can do this, cut that, put it in here, replace this with index, and I guess a for loop would be even sufficient as well. If I save this now, refresh, there we are, we have this now nicely working. So what we could do here is a light gray, maybe we can make it even lighter, but well, later on I'll show you that. What I first want to do is to confirm if we change the bar category or the percentage, the bar percentage, let's say bar percentage will be in 0.5 instead of the original value of 0.9 if I'm not mistaken. And as you can see, it narrows down the bar. We can confirm this as well if we say category percentage will be 0.6. Save that, refresh, and as it narrows it down, it understands this. The final thing, what we could do if you want to have like a more advanced plugin and you say, well, I don't want my users to play around with this value here, but I want to make sure that they have their own value within the options. What we could do is the following. I'm going to put a comma here. I'm going to say here plugins. And then in the plugins here, we can say here will be the shorthand, that is the bar tracker, that's the ID. So that's basically this object, and within this object we can say bar color, and the bar color could be here. Let's say we make this green for now, and if we do this, we want to make sure that this is now communicated in here. To do this, this is why we have this plugins here. So we say plugins, and basically this plugin is a reference from plugins to bar tracker, which is basically here. And then here the bar color, we can just put it in here. So we skip here bar tracker because it's already given because of the ID. So here bar color. And if I save this, we have here now a nice green color, although it looks quite strong. So what we could do here maybe is a RGBA. And let's get the official color here, 0,0,0, 0.1. And that's, I think, a quite decent color, like that. No need for a semicolon. Refresh, and there we are, we have this color now controlled that even your user would be able to do it as for more user friendliness.